The Saskatchewan NDP have formally introduced rent control legislation through a private member's bill. The legislation would limit annual rent increases to the Consumer Price Index, which is currently standing at about 2.4%. Carla Beck is the leader of the Saskatchewan NDP, joins us in studio this morning. Carla, thank you for doing this. We saw a couple of days ago a number of people go to the legislative building. They're very concerned about their rent rising. Is this a city issue or is this a rural issue? How do you see this one?
Yeah, it's an issue right across the province. We see rents rising faster in Saskatchewan than in any other province. We've had, in fact, 40 months, consecutive months of rent increases. It's not surprising that people in Saskatchewan are experiencing higher financial anxiety than anywhere in the province. It's been the case for a long time, and we introduced this bill to offer some relief to those 300,000 renters in this province.
Let's break down the bill for us.
So the rent would tie maximum rent increases to the Consumer Price Index. This bill came in after months and months of consultation by our shadow minister, April Chiefcalf, and she spoke not only to renters, she spoke with home builders, with landlords associations, with municipalities right across the province, looked at other legislation where rent control has been brought in, and put together this very thoughtful bill to, again, curb those the 40 months of rent increases, to offer some relief to people who right now are looking at, in some cases, using the food bank, selling their car. We heard from one woman who had to give up her cat to meet her rent increases, but also is thoughtful about carve-outs, 5-year exemption for new builds, and exemptions if landlords are bringing in major renovations to their buildings. Look, the reality is that the largest contributor to this are often out-of-province corporate landlords who come in, they buy up buildings, and they jack up rents because they can. This is going to, if it were passed, provide some relief to those renters who desperately need it right now.
And it sounds like it is destined to fail, given the government is in the position of power and majority in the legislature. They are saying, from their perspective, that it's going to limit investment, it's going to limit growth, it's going to limit building. Why do you oppose that stance?
Well, first of all, I would say that the government admitted that they put all of these concerns on the table before they even read the bill. There are measures in this bill that address some of the concerns that we heard about growth. The reality is we have 6 other provinces in Canada right now that have rent control. Saskatchewan has fewer housing starts than all but one of those jurisdictions. The number one thing that we hear that has really stifled housing builds in this province was the application of PST on construction labor. There are ways to address housing starts, which we need to in this province, to encourage that in the cities and outside of the cities. But right now, again, 40 months of rent increases, the highest rent increases in the country. People are struggling.
So can you work with the government to amend this bill to make it something they're satisfactory with?
I am always willing to work with the government. And again, this bill was built with consultation, and I think those who raise concerns will see their concerns addressed in this bill. If the government were willing to listen, absolutely. We'll continue to put forward our proposals on this and other issues. Right now, we have a government that doesn't seem particularly concerned with working with us or listening to these concerns. We've heard those concerns, and we're going to continue to address them.
The provincial debt forecast has ballooned to an astronomical number from the projected profit that they were going to have. You say this is the chickens coming home to roost. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we knew when that budget was tabled, and our finance shadow minister, Trent Witherspoon, said it wasn't worth the paper it was written on. Months later, we're shown that that was indeed the case. They've blown their projections. We've gone from a $12 million surplus to a $165 million deficit, plus another $1 billion on the debt. This is a government that has often at budget time stands up and says that they have a balanced budget, only to be proven months later that they've indeed racked up more debt on our Crown corporations, concerns about what that means for bill increases. This has been a well-established pattern by this government, who have simply created a financial mess.
I'd love to get more into it, but we're all out of time. Carla, thank you for spending some time with us today.
Thanks, Daryl.